Now, here's a slide, and I say, what can you tell from this slide? And if you'll look at it, we have 5-gallon buckets of yellow squash, and each one of them has a little pink card that says 12 on it. So if I'm standing at this packing shed on such and such a date, and I'm looking at this load coming in, can I generate a lot number? And if you think about it, I know the date, I'm looking at the yellow squash in the buckets, and number 12 in this case, the little pink number 12 cards, are the field that they came out of. Each grower, when they pick a load of yellow squash, they'll drop a card in so that when they get back to the packing shed, all of that information is there, and so then that lot number can be generated for that particular amount of product that comes through. Now, here's another example, and I'm showing you the end of a produce box. And this produce box has a series of numbers on it. And if you will look at some of your charts, let's just look at this number and see if we can figure out what is being marketed and see what this lot number really tells us. First 3 digits says 152. And if you'll look at your Julian calendar, look up 152, you can see the exact date that this product was harvested out of the field. The next 2 digits is 12, so that tells me that it was done in 2012. I'm peeking through the handle of the box right now, and I see the end of some zucchini squash. So in that lot number, I'm assuming that 39 is the crop code number for zucchini squash. And then the last 2 digits, 11, tells me that it came from field number 11. And so with that being said, you'll see that that sticker, or that label, allows you to get all of that information in that series of lot numbers without a major effort of having to write that information down. So that's pretty much the way we get into lot numbers. Now, while we're looking at this slide, let's mention one other thing. There are a lot of people that say, well, you know, these lot numbers, do I have to put it on every box? What do I do? Because that's a lot of stickers on boxes and so forth. The rule pretty much tells you that you put it on whatever your marketable unit is coming from your farm. So let me clarify this a little bit. If you're selling boxes of vegetables and you take 25 or 30 boxes, you're probably going to have a label on every box. But let me give you an example where this works just a little bit differently. If you're growing kale, and I've got some growers that grow kale, they put it in a wooden crate. That process is once it comes into the packing facility, that wooden crate is dipped into ice water that's also sanitizing. And so that ice water is taking field heat out. The sanitizer is placed on it. And so you can imagine lifting that box of cold kale out with dripping water on it. It'd be very difficult to put a marker or a label on that box. So in their cases, what they do, they stack those boxes onto a pallet and lock them together, and they know that that pallet, each time they fill a pallet, they have 12 or 16 units on there. So their marketable unit is going to be a full pallet. At the end of it, when they take the plastic to wrap around to tie the pallet together, the last thing they do, they'll take, and in this case it's very simple, they'll take a piece of paper, a Sharpie marker, they'll write out the lot number, they'll stick it there, wrap it a couple times with the plastic, and so that pallet then has an identifying code or a lot number on it. So that can be done. Let me give you one more example, because I worked with one grower who was a strawberry grower and had 16 acres of strawberries, and in that case he says, please tell me I don't have to put a sticker on every gallon bucket that comes out of the farm. So we looked at his, and basically in his particular situation, each time he loaded a truck at the field, he got 400 gallons of strawberries on a truckload. So that individual truck trailer became his marketable unit. And so with his, each time he pulled out of the field with a load of strawberries, that was his marketable unit. So his truck was identified with that lot number of what was in the contents in there. So it can be done several different ways, and should be very easy. You also notice on this slide one last point. There is no barcode here. There are a lot of people in the industry who would love to sell a small farmer a barcoding system and computer and printer to go with it, and they can put you in it very nicely for $3,000 or $4,000, and you can generate your own barcodes. But the rule pretty much says that no matter whether you have a barcode or not, there has to be a series or a lot number that can be identified by a human being. So bottom line, you are satisfying the traceability rule with what we're doing here as far as generating lot numbers. So with that being said, let's move on. We've talked about one step back. Now let's just look briefly at one step forward. And we said we were going to use our invoice. This slide shows you an invoice, and if you will look, each of you, as you sell produce, you usually, in order to be paid, you've got to furnish an invoice, a sales invoice. In this case, this invoice has your information, who it came from, what farm it was, and so forth. It also has the customer destination, who is buying this product. It has a shipping date on it as to when this product left your farm. The only real difference between this now with traceability and what you have been all along is that when you list product, not only do you list, in this case we show 6 bins of pumpkins, but we also list on that line the lot number. So there are 6 bins that have a lot number of, and you can see it right there, 242113705. So therefore that is the only difference in the regular invoice that you may have been doing before and a new one with your traceability number on it. So each item that leaves your farm, when you do an invoice, if you will put a lot number on there, that suffices for the one step forward. Now, another point here, and I want to emphasize this. You notice down at the bottom I put get a signature. When you deliver this product, or when a buyer sends a truck to pick it up or whatever, that signature by the person who receives that product transfers ownership from you to the next level. So your liability ends when you do one step forward, but that signature helps to verify that you have transferred the ownership up the line to the next person. It becomes their responsibility then to continue with traceability. Your responsibility has been taken care of. Last slide here, and we want to talk just a little bit, how do we document all this work that we've been doing? And so in your package, and I'm showing you here on this slide, we keep what we call a daily production log. And basically what we're doing here, and this got changed also as we worked with farmers, and at one time we did one, and all crops that passed through our shed or facility that left that day had a lot number and so forth. But our farmers made this suggestion, and we made the change, and so each of these log sheets are designated for one commodity. In other words, if you're doing fresh market tomatoes, that's your commodity for this sheet. You don't put the peppers on the sheet, you don't put anything else but that particular commodity. Now, let's just go through it just a minute and look at it, because we wanted a way to keep it simple. And if you'll notice, this is a one-page log sheet. It can be used throughout the summer until you fill it up, and then you can start over on another one. But very easy to keep. Notice the dotted line in the middle of it. That dotted line, you've got at the top of it is your incoming product. At the bottom, it is what leaves your farm and goes out. So it basically acts like what we call in accounting a balance sheet. Now, up at the top, let's look just a little bit. If I harvest product and I bring it in out of the field, I've assigned my lot number based on location, crop, and date, and so forth. I have a lot number. That column for quantity there, you want to put the number of harvest bins. These are not finished products yet. These are bins coming in from the field. If you do it in plastic totes, if you do it in boxes, or if you do it in RPCs or whatever comes out of the field goes in that, the number of harvest containers. Now, if you'll notice, you have a place there for notes. Now, everybody, as you bring product in, if it has to be washed, if it has to be graded, if it has to be sanitized or treated in any way, through that process, you're going to have some product that gets thrown into the culls that are pulled from that. They may be undersized, they may be damaged, they may have some insect or disease problems or whatever, but those items get pulled from the harvest. Now, in the note section, once you finish finally processing what you just brought in from the field, the note section is where you'll want to put how many boxes, cases, marketable units of finished product did I get. In other words, I may bring 40, 45 boxes out of the field of tomatoes in to be graded. Once I get them done, I may have 30 boxes of finished product once all the grading and processing goes on. So now I've got a lot number up there which stays with it, and I've got the finished product. I go down to below the dotted line to the disposition side, and I can put that lot number and how many boxes of finished product. Now, on that side, if I sell it to one customer, if I'm doing wholesale and it all goes to one location, I put that customer's name in there and what the ship date was. And that came straight off of my invoice when I was doing my invoicing. If I have 30 boxes and I send 20 to one buyer, then I'll use one line. I'll go back. The other 10, I'll put the lot number and put 10 and list the other buyer for 10 more boxes and when they ship. But therefore, I've accounted for, in the bottom, I've counted for 30 boxes of finished product, which is the same number in the top that I came up with, 30 boxes. So it's kind of a balance sheet, and everything that comes in and finished product has to be accounted for going out. Now, if you're a direct marketer, if you sell to farmers markets, pick your own CSAs, any of the types of direct market opportunities that are out there, if you sell product to them, on the bottom part of this, on the disposition, all you have to do is put the lot number and how much. And if you, for instance, took 5 cases to the farmer's market, you can put over under customer, you can put direct market, the words direct market. And that is the end of the line, because there will be numerous customers that may buy tomatoes at the farmer's market. So with that being said, one of the things that I suggest here, and a lot of our growers do this, rather than putting just direct market, a lot of them will list which market got those so that they will know a little bit better on which markets, and this gives them an idea to know which markets they're selling the most product at. Maybe in the future some management decisions can be made from that. But that's what you do on the disposition side of it if you're a direct marketer. Now, notice at the bottom there's one more section down there. It says unsold product. Let me give you a couple of examples. Unsold product. I've got all of these 30 cases of tomatoes ready to ship. They're sitting there ready to load, and as the forklift comes to pick them up, one box falls off the corner and hits the floor, and tomatoes go all over the floor. So now I've got to clean all that up, but I've still got to account for that damaged box. So down at the bottom under unsold product, I can put lot number, and if I had one box damaged, one box, and you put where you disposed of it, if you put it in your coal bin, if you buried it, if you fed it to livestock, put a note in there of location of where you disposed of that product. Also, a lot of times farms, and I'll give you a great example, a lot of times you'll have folks that may come back. I know my cabbage growers, while bagging and packing cabbage, a lot of times local person may stop by and say, we're having a hot dog supper at the church. Would you donate some cabbage for coleslaw? Well, usually a farmer doesn't mind whatsoever, and a lot of times that happens. If you already have it as a finished product, all you have to do, if you gave them a sack of cabbage, down at the bottom, unsold product, put a lot number and a quantity and who it went to. And that's all you have to do. Please notice that all of traceability, whether you're doing lot numbers, invoicing, whatever, nowhere in traceability does it ask you for any of your financial figures. That's not what we're looking for here. It's not of concern to anybody here as far as traceability is concerned. So rest assured, your financial handling of product is totally up to you. So just be aware of that. Traceability is so that we do have a way to trace product in case of a foodborne illness or otherwise, that we can get back to the farm, and the sooner we can get to the source to identify what the problem is and so forth, we think of it, the quicker we can do that, less people get sick. And that's what we want to do, and that's what this all is based on. So our production log is a one-page report that we can keep all summer long. We put it on a clipboard. A lot of our growers will keep this out of their GAP manual. They'll keep it wherever they're working. When they do their audit, then they can carry that clipboard or those papers back for the main audit. So they don't necessarily have to keep them in their manual all the time. It's something, this is a working document that you will work with quite often during harvest season. Okay, that ends this presentation. If you have any questions, you're welcome to email me, or you're welcome to go on my website, AgCon, AGCON, agconfoodsafety.com, and you're able to post a question there. If you have any questions, you're welcome to post questions, and we'll try to get back with you to answer those. This concludes this presentation. Thank you.